Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for joining us for this live stream as part of Formula Botanica's Open Week. We are thrilled to have you with us. So whilst we wait for a few people to jump on, I can already see the numbers going up. We're going to be live on Facebook and we're going to be live on YouTube as well. So tell us where you are in the world. We always love hearing from you. We have such an amazing global community. So please drop us a comment in the chat and tell us what country you're in and where you're watching us from today, this evening, this afternoon, this morning, whatever the time is for you. So before we get started, I think maybe we should do some introductions. What do you think, Ken?
Yes, absolutely. So, hello, I'm Ken. I'm in Dubai because you asked where I am, and I'm the partner manager here at Formula Botanica. Welcome to all of you dialing into our live stream. It's a great opportunity to ask questions, so please make use of that while you have us here online and live. I can already see people are logging in from Barbuda and Chicago, which is great, and it's a great representation of our student community as well, which is all international and from all over the world. And I started with Formula Botanica about 8 months ago. And before that, I actually was a student as well. So I enrolled for nearly all of the wonderful courses that we offer. And I was a complete beginner to formulating when I started. I thought that maybe I can share some of my experiences as well if you guys want to know. So just ask questions in the chat box at any time, and we will try to get to them throughout our next probably hour or so. No?
Awesome. Yes. And well, let me introduce myself as well. I'm Lorraine. I run Formula Botanica. You've probably seen my face on the website. I also was a student with Formula Botanica many, many moons ago. I was one of Formula Botanica's first ever students. And I trained as a biologist, ended up taking the courses with Formula Botanica because I too wanted to learn how to formulate natural skincare and hair care. And I too wanted to start my own brand, but fell in love with the school so much that I ended up taking it over and now I run it completely. So yes, we're thrilled to have you with us today because this, I don't even know what number this is in Open Week. I think we've done about 6 lives already, but it's been phenomenal. And we've had so many people join us from all over the world. We've been live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, and we're hosting these live events as part of Open Week to introduce Formula Botanica to you, to help you find out more about what it's like to study with us, to see how we teach, to learn from us, and to get a bit of a flavor for how our accredited and award-winning online e-learning platform works and our amazing and award-winning courses work as well. So last night, UK time, we had a live lecture from 2 of our team members. Lisa and Brooke were on live and they were doing an introduction to natural ingredients in formulation, which I know was incredibly well received. I saw a lot of the comments. I was on live for a bit watching as well, and it was awesome. And we are here today to give you another live lecture on an introduction to formulation. So if you're just joining us, I can see lots of people jumping on live. Please do post up a comment and tell us where you are in the chat. It is absolutely wonderful. As Ken said, we're seeing people join us from all over the world: Istanbul, UK, Canada, USA, South Africa, Congo. Awesome.
Wow.
It is so nice to have you with us. And that's just the first couple of minutes. So we are going to be answering some questions as well. But what I wanted to do first is that we first jump on and give you a bit of a, well, as I said, a live lecture to show you our philosophies on how to get started with formulation. So I guess as it is 4 o'clock, what I will do is I will share my screen and hopefully all will go well. And then let's see how that works. Okay, so here we go. Cool. Let me just go to full screen for you. Okay, so this is our July 2021 Open Week with an introduction to formulation. And we're going to give you a little bit of a rundown as to how we think you should get started with formulation. So the first thing I wanted to share with you is what is formulation. And I really want you to understand the difference between becoming a formulator and becoming a DIY recipe follower. I suppose the clue is already in the title, because when you follow a recipe, obviously you're just following someone else's instructions. But a formulator, so all of the, the almost 14,000 people who've gone through our courses at Formula Botanica, they learn how to become a formulator and to create their own formulations. So What does that mean? Well, the first thing is that you learn the ability to layer ingredients. You're no longer dependent upon other people telling you that you have to add A to B and then you'll be left with this amazing product. You can figure out how to layer those ingredients for yourself. And if you watched the live stream last night with Brooke and Lisa, then you'll have learned more about that. If you haven't seen it, please do go back and watch it because the replay is up on YouTube and Facebook and you can catch it all again. But once you learn about those different ingredient categories, you then learn the ability to layer them together to create your own products. And before you know it, you'll be left with your own serums and lotions and shampoos and conditioners, etc. And that is the first step of formulation. So the second part of formulation is that it is a wonderful way to connect with botanicals. And this is where organic formulation is slightly different to the more sort of classic cosmetic chemistry path that a lot of people take. Natural formulation really allows you to connect with those plants, those herbs, those roots, those petals, those seeds, those oils. And that is one of the things that really attracts people to formulation. And that's part of the reason that we've had so many people go through our award-winning online courses, is because once you become a formulator, you have almost this intimate relationship with these ingredients that you work with. And I always say that the secret ingredient that all indie formulators include in their products is love, because they really connect with their ingredients. And there is nothing nicer than being surrounded by all these botanicals. There are a couple of photos here that we've taken from some of our formulation sessions as well. And when you have a whole table filled with these plants and you realize I can make something out of this, that is just so empowering. You're no longer reliant upon following other people's recipes, which is awesome. So the third part of formulation then is the ability to design your own products from scratch. This is, as I said, the difference between being a formulator and being a recipe follower. You can now design your own cleansers and toners and lotions and serums and shampoos and conditioners. You have the ability to say, I know how to put one of these together, because I know that if I add roughly this percentage in with that percentage, then ultimately I'm going to be left with this. No longer will you have to be combing the internet for blogs and recipes and social media posts, because you then have the power to do this for yourself. And that is incredibly empowering and also incredibly fun, which is why obviously we've had so many people go through our courses at Formula Botanica. So I'm going to hand over to you now, Ken.
Okay.
The next part, let me see if I can tab forwards. Okay.
Yeah, so obviously, where do you start? Because if you are a beginner, it can be incredibly, it can feel incredibly overwhelming, getting lost in the wealth of ingredients you can find, especially once you start online shopping for ingredients, you'll find more and more and more, and you really want to probably buy all of them right away. And I think really important is, and it's not even for beginners, I think even it's sometimes back if you're an advanced formulator, to strip back and go back to basics and back to roots. And key message here is start with foundation ingredients like your waxes, your butters, your oils. There is so much to discover. Like even, let's say, if you just take oils, there is so many amazing plant oils that you can use for formulations with all different benefits and skin feels and skin absorption. There's so much to research and experiment with. So that alone already is a really, really good basis to start off with. And it will help you later on, the more complicated your ingredients get. It will just help you to understand how this oil will behave, for what sort of skin types it may be good to use, or climates, and what skin benefits it has, really. So foundation ingredients, start with that. It also has a huge advantage, because when you start with those simple ingredients and you build up your kind of library of knowledge about all these, as you build other ingredients, and you will be left with an amazing product, rather than trying to build a product and then research what can I use, to make the skin, I don't know, maybe to brighten the skin a little bit, what kind of, which ingredients would have this benefit. So if you start with this research from the beginning, you keep it simple with your ingredients, start with the foundation ingredients. They're usually also a bit easier to get hold of, and you can make amazing products with that already, which then I think brings us to the next steps, like what kind of product should you start off with? And we recommend that you always start with anhydrous products. And that is basically things like oils, butters, balms, oleogels, body butters, those sort of things. And again, you experiment with these basic ingredients that we mentioned just earlier, and you can make amazing products with that already. And this is kind of the first step to formulation, to start with anhydrous products. And they have a huge advantage as well, because they actually do not require any preservation, which makes it quite easy to work with. And it's very interesting to see how a texture can change. For example, if you make a body butter, how the texture can change by just using, let's say if you have 3 ingredients and you change one of them to a different oil or a different butter, you have a complete different product that behaves completely differently on your skin or in a warm country versus a cold country, etc. So that alone gives you a wealth of information and knowledge already about anhydrous products. And it's like kind of the basic step. And then as we progress, it gets a little bit more advanced, and you just build up, how should I explain that in an easy way? I would say each step has its own benefit. And as you learn that benefit and really get to understand it, then move on to the next. So after the anhydrous products, and Lorraine, interrupt me if you want to add anything at any stage.
No, I think that's absolutely perfect.
Okay, so second step, then we would go on with water-based products. And water-based products are things like your toners, your gels, your shampoos, and it just is. I remember the first time I worked with hydrosols, and I think the first hydrosol I ever used was a rose hydrosol, and you open it and the scent is just so beautiful. So automatically you start to make different types of products now, and you will get to explore a whole other level of ingredients that you can work with. And interestingly enough, for example, water-based products was something when I started with formulating, like purely water-based products was something where I thought I'm not that interested in it. And then I found in our diploma in organic skincare formulation, one of my absolute favorite formulations, gel cleansers. So gel-based facial cleansers. And it's one of my most favorite products to make. So you just explore this whole other world of ingredients and products that you can make. And like Lorraine mentioned, it feels so empowering when you actually, you start with formulating, and then at some point you end up with all these amazing samples and testers that you made, and there is no limit really where to take it. Obviously, I think I mentioned that already, but water-based products then allows you to work with more botanicals, right? So you've explored the oils, the butters, and then with the water-based products, there's a whole other level of ingredients you can use with. So I mentioned hydrosols, for example, which are beautiful, and there's such a big range of them. It's also quite nice because, for example, I love hydrosols because you can make things quite local. So you've got certain plants that are local to a certain area, and you could use that, for example, to make a product local to your region where you're at if you wanted to. I like that you could, change things up a little bit and create with a basic formulation that you adapted yourself, that you made yourself. I could completely change the fragrance and kind of benefits profile of a product by just changing the rose hydrosol to, let's say, witch hazel. Complete, different on the skin, and complete different scent profile and complete different benefits. So it's just beautiful to keep exploring and kind of add this other layer to your formulations.
Yeah. Can I just add there, Ken?
Yeah, of course.
So the really interesting and fun thing about plants is they have both water-based and oil-based chemical compounds inside of them. I mean, most plants have hundreds and hundreds of chemical compounds in them. I don't think anyone's really even mapped most plants as to what's in them. And there are always oil-soluble compounds in there generally, which is why so many plants yield essential oils. And some of them also obviously create their seeds particularly, and their nuts create carrier oils. But because plants tend to drink water, if I'm going to be very simplistic about it, it often means that they have even more water-based compounds in them. And those compounds often are antioxidants, often have amazing effects on the skin. So once you move beyond those anhydrous formulations and you start to work with waters, once you've got that sort of formulation experience under your belt a little bit, that's when you can start to incorporate even more of these very, very exciting plant extracts, which is awesome and part of the fun of formulating.
Definitely is, yeah. And yeah, so thanks for adding that, Lorraine. After the water-based, I think the next step exactly would be to make solid products, and has huge advantages. So you can make shower bars, shampoo bars, for example, those sort of things. And it's super fun to work with because there you can see on the left image, there is some color in there. So again, you can explore, complete different world of formulating and ingredients. It's a complete different product. And, obviously the advantage of creating solid products is huge. If you follow, blog posts, industry news, you will see that they're very much in trend right now because they're more sustainable and require less packaging. So if you would like to create a brand, for example, that is all along the lines of being sustainable, then you're full on trend by creating products like that. I personally love making shower bars as well. When I travel a lot, and I love to take just shower bar, shampoo bars with me. You don't have the issue with any liquids in your bag. You don't have the issue with anything spilling. And when you're done, you wrap it up and you go on to the next destination. Wonderful presents as well, if I may add, for your family and friends, and wonderful products as well to sell if you do start your own brand. Which also make it a bit easier, I think, personally, with shipping and things like that, because shipping of glass containers or anything like that. And really beautiful products you can create. You can play with shapes as well, other than ingredients, with colors, and again, whole different level of ingredients that you will then add on to your repertoire of expertise already.
Yeah, they're awesome. I absolutely love them. And I think this is the future of the beauty industry, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think the indie formulators of the world are going to really lead this trend moving forwards, because I think, in 10 years' time, beauty is going to look very different to where it is now. And that's because of people like you watching, who are going to be learning how to formulate and are going to be making products that the market wants, but which are going to lead the mainstream brands away from the way that they've been making and selling beauty products for the last 150 years. So I find solid products absolutely exciting, and I can't wait to see what you learn to make once you come and enroll with us at Formula Botanica.
Yeah, and I do remember some really lovely posts in our community from people that made solid products. So you can have really fun with this as well, and change up the shapes and things like that. It's really, really nice to work with and nice to use, obviously. And then I guess from there you will have the most should I say complicated maybe a step, if you can call it that, and that would be your lotions, your serums, and conditioners, which are obviously emulsions. And emulsions, well, I say complicated. It's not really complicated. It is fairly simple, but you're incorporating now different elements. So you obviously want to blend a water phase in an oil phase and make it homogeneous into one liquid. I'm missing the words here. In one product. Thank you. Yes. So that's the trick there, right? And I think it's really beneficial if you start off kind of what we just discussed, because by then you will have explored the benefits of your anhydrous phase, of your oil phase. You will have explored the benefits of your water phase, of all these ingredients, and then you can start combining them and mixing them together by obviously using something that will emulsify it and blend it into one product. There are so many lovely emulsifiers in the market, natural ones that can be used. And again, this is such a fun product to make, because you can change the way your lotion feels by just using a different emulsifier or blending different emulsifiers. It can create a complete different skin feel, from like a really heavy cream to like a thin lotion that absorbs very quickly. So you can create all sorts of products there. Obviously, I think the classic cosmetic product as well, if you think of cosmetics and you think of a cream, and obviously there you can make hand creams and face creams and foot creams and lotions and body lotions and all sorts of things, and it's really, really fun to play and work with. And I think that emulsions also then allow you, other than emulsifiers, obviously, exactly, you can use high performance botanicals. So there is a lot of ingredients that really can add certain benefits for the skin. in the appearance of the skin and condition of the skin that you can add to it. It may be such things like colors as well, or certain extracts that are really powerful. And there's really powerful and lovely botanical extracts you can use and you can obviously a certain technique with it, a certain way how you need to do that, which we will teach you in our courses. And you can make really lovely, powerful products with that. And yeah, I think we see from our graduates really, really interesting formulations. You can have really fun with this. You could make like I usually pick a theme. So the other day I picked Asia as a theme, and I used lots of green tea, rice, black tea extracts and things like that. And fragrance wise, I used some ylang ylang, and you can just create all these beautiful products. And what I love about it is you can get really creative. There is no limit to your fantasy. You can make it theme based. You can make it skin condition based. You can make it skin type based. You can pick whatever you like and start experimenting and exploring. And I think that is the fun part, and it's the best feeling when you, at the end, whatever product it is that you make, from a body butter to a lotion, when you start with it and you will have a product, and then a few months later you get back to it because you will have learned so much more about different ingredients. And then you're like, oh, actually, let me make this formulation again, but now let me change this oil for another one, and let me add this little ingredient here. And you come up with this improved version of it. And it's the best feeling because you feel so proud of that.
It's really exciting, Ken. I love that. And that's part of the excitement of being a formulator as well, is the thing I've seen over the years with our students, and we've had so many people go through our award-winning online courses, is they don't feel constrained by what someone is telling them in a lecture theatre. So if you went to study cosmetic chemistry, if you went to university, you spent tens of thousands of dollars getting this education there to become a chemist, you would be following, you'd be sort of following recipes that have been taught and have stood the test of time. And you'd be using ingredients that everyone's familiar with, which is part of the reason that the sort of traditional chemistry community has been quite upset about the fact that so many of their ingredients have been shunned by this huge wave of people wanting to learn how to make naturals. And then, of course, when you're not constrained by someone telling you this is how you make it and there is no other way. You're sort of being told, let's learn how to formulate by connecting with your ingredients, by experimenting, by trying out different botanicals. And it means that you can bring that art component into it, where you effectively, you give it a theme. You think about something to do with nature, or something to do with a television program you've been watching, or a fragrance that you've smelled, or something from your childhood, and you can infuse that into your product. And that is what makes for a fantastic formulator. So if you're watching us, and I know there's quite a few of you watching across all of our platforms, drop us a line in the comments. So this is my challenge. This is your homework for right here, right now. Tell us which formulation you most want to learn to make. And I can't wait to see all of the answers. But we'll read them out in a minute, because I've got one final bit that I just want to run us through, which is about Formula Botanica's philosophies. So as you're watching our open week event, you're obviously interested in how Formula Botanica works. Hopefully you have pre-enrolled, which means you're now ready to enroll with us the moment we open enrollment on Tuesday morning UK time. So I want you to understand a little bit more about how we operate, how our courses operate, etc. So the first part of how we teach, and this is a red line that goes through, or a golden thread, I should say, that goes through all of our courses, which is that we always want you to start simple. And you've just heard Ken walk you through, how we walk you through the formulation stages. We want you to start with the basics. And I did a live stream on Instagram the other day where I was also talking about this. I want you to learn to walk before you can run. And if you start simple, that means that you learn those techniques of creating a formulation from scratch, and you learn how to make a product, but you learn how to do it simply. And once you've mastered the simple components, that's when you can start to layer in more complex ingredients and start to work with more complex formulations overall. But you always start simple. It's a really, really big thing for us. The second part of our philosophies, which is also really important to us, is that we want you, so this is your homework, we want you to determine what natural means to you. In fact, we have, so I host our Green Beauty Conversations podcast. If you've never listened to it before, go and subscribe in whatever podcast player you use, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, whatever, and go back to episode 1, because we define what natural means and we walk through the different shades of natural. And to us, there is no right or wrong, but there are various shades of natural. And I want you to go and figure out which ones speak to you the most. You might only want to work with products that have been derived directly from nature and have only undergone some physical processing. You might, for instance, also be willing to accept some that have undergone some chemical processing. And what I mean by that is a functional ingredient, like an emulsifier that Ken was just talking about, an ingredient that binds oil and water together to create a lotion. That will have a natural version, will have been derived from nature, generally from coconut oil or palm oil. That is generally the ingredient that's used the most. And then it will have undergone some chemical processing. That might not be acceptable to you. That's totally fine, because you can still learn to formulate with lots of other ingredients as well. So a big part of studying with us is that you have to figure out what natural means to you, because there is no one size fits all and there is no right or wrong answer. At least to us, there isn't, which is why we welcome all shades of natural in our courses. And the third and final component of our philosophies, and then I will stop screen sharing, is that we want you to understand that formulation is fun, it's easy, and it's empowering. And this is incredibly important, that you go into your formulation studies with us understanding this, because if you go into it realizing that this is going to completely change your life and you're going to learn a new skill that will be cooler than any other skill that you've learned for ages or maybe ever, then you will go through all of your studies with us with a huge smile on your face. And every single ingredient that you experiment with and every single formulation you make, even if it goes wrong, and some of them will go wrong because that's a natural part of the process, is that you will sit there and you'll go, I did this, I'm learning this, I am a formulator. And one day you're going to wake up and think, I am a formulator, I can do this. And that is truly one of the most empowering things there is. So that was our brief presentation. Good, we've spent about 25 minutes on that. I'm going to stop screen sharing now. I should add, by the way, that all of the photos you've seen in this presentation were taken by the Formula Botanica team, which is really cool, because it should also give you an idea of all the cool stuff that we make as well, and that we put out there in the world, and hopefully give you a bit of a flavor of what your own home formulation lab could look like very soon. Cool. Right. Let me just...
Lorraine, just to emphasize the last point of how empowering the feeling is of formulation, because like I said, I was a student as well. When I enrolled, I had no background in formulating skincare products whatsoever, or knowledge of ingredients really. And the courses are built in a way that you really ease your way into it if you follow the structure of the course. And it is, in the beginning, it was lots of thought when I formulated off, what will I use and research ingredients. But once you have built up that knowledge, it's so much fun. So if I have a stressful day, at the end of the day, I clear my desk, I get the products out, and you formulate something, and it's the best stress release. You've got a great product after, which you can do a little home spa, or you can give it away, or maybe even sell it. And it's just such a great feeling to come up with all these amazing products. And it is a big difference if you Google a recipe and you follow it, or if you actually make and create your own. It's a huge difference. The feeling that you have when you hold that cream that you actually made is very different to something where you go like, okay, 100 grams of this, 50 grams of that. It's completely different, because it's your own, you really made it. And you, like you mentioned earlier, you put love in it. Yeah, so it's your secret ingredient, your secret botanical.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. And the other thing that is really awesome, I mean, I completely agree with everything you've just said. Holding your own product in your hands like that is phenomenal and so empowering. The other thing, which I find incredibly empowering, and only obviously I have this, is all of these graduate products I get sent from all around the world. And those are products that our students have made and they're now selling. And I've got so many of them here. We're going to do a graduate showcase next week as part of Open Week. So I'll be live on Instagram with Lisa, our community coordinator, and we'll be showcasing just a handful of graduates. But there are so many behind me, and I don't even have all of them, and that is incredibly empowering as well. Watching those people go through our courses and then create those emulsions and those toners and those facial oils and those boosters. And I've got all sorts of products here. Solid products. It's just phenomenal. And that could be you too soon. You soon too. So if you are thinking about joining us, that's obviously why we're hosting this open week, and that's hopefully why you're watching us as well. Please do put your name down for pre-enrollment. So click on the link above or below the video, depending on where you're watching us. I think it's below on YouTube and above on Facebook, because that way you will definitely be ready to take part when we open up enrollment. So shall we read out some of the products that people want to learn to make?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just been so many of them. Thank you for jumping in the comments. And if you haven't typed in your favorite or the formulation that you want to learn to make the most, please do pop it in the chat, because we would love to see. So what have we got? Do you want to read some out?
Yes, let me scroll back, because the comments here go so quick and come so quick, because as you're all typing in, which is great. So we've got exfoliants and cleansers. And cleansers is my favorite. I just love cleansers.
That's awesome. And we teach all sorts of different cleansers in our diploma in organic skincare formulation. So you'll learn how to make oil-based, balm cream cleansers, foaming cleansers, micellar waters,
gel-based cleansers.
Thank you. Gel-based cleansers, there's so many. It's one of the first things you start with, actually. So if you enroll on our foundation diploma on Tuesday when we open up, then I'd say within a week and a half, you'll be making cleansers. And that is incredible. So yeah, great one to start with.
It is. Then we seem to have hair fans here, because we have hair conditioners and solid hair conditioner, someone mentioned. Which is great, because we do have a diploma in organic hair care formulation as well, obviously.
Yes, and I just want to say hair care is a huge untapped market. So if you go and buy hair care, I mean, I challenge you, go to the shops, go to your local stores and see what sort of natural hair care brands you can find there. You just won't. It just isn't really done yet. And I see an enormous opportunity here for indie formulators. I mean, I'm just waiting for the first Formula Botanica graduates from our diploma in organic hair care formulation to really sort of take the market by storm, because many of the skincare formulators behind us they almost have like a head start on the hair care formulators. But honestly, if you want an untapped market opportunity, this is it. Hair care is it, which is why we teach you how to make organic shampoos, conditioners, styling products. Honestly, the world is your oyster when it comes to hair care.
Maybe I should try some styling products as well. It might be fun to do next on my formulation list, how to learn to do some styling products. There you go.
Cool.
We have, someone says, Mariam says emulsions. She wants to learn how to make emulsions, which we definitely cover in our diploma in organic skincare formulation, and also is very fun to do, especially when you start experimenting, not only with all the ingredients, but also then with different emulsifiers, just to see how the texture changes of your emulsion. So it's really, really great to work with. Dr. Pipasha mentions skin cream and serums.
Yes, well, that fits with the emulsions, doesn't it? I mean, once you've learned how to make, excuse me, a basic emulsion, then you can start to layer in more high performance extracts. Then you can make really thin emulsions, which are serums. Like I've got one here from our graduate Daniela, who runs Native Essentials in Thailand. I've just got this. I always have a few graduate products here on my desk, so I can just go, here's one. And that's an emulsion as well. That's a very thin serum emulsion, which is absolutely fantastic. I haven't got the packaging, the outer packaging, so I can't tell you all the ingredients that are in it. But yes, that is the next stage of making emulsions, and it's so much fun and so empowering. You'll love it.
Then we have gels and facial toners.
Awesome. Yes.
And gels are also a very nice product, actually, for like the climate where I live in Dubai, where it's super hot and humid in summer. And for example, for the day, I love just like water-based products like a gel, because it's thin. You apply it, it's absorbed quickly, and once you start sweating outside, you don't have that whole film on your face where everything comes back out. It just absorbs very nicely. So I keep the oily products for the evening, usually in summer here.
Well, someone has commented on YouTube and asked which cream you use, actually, Ken. They're complimenting you on your skin.
Oh, well, thank you. All my creams that I use are found in our diploma in organic skincare formulation. You will find the base formulations in there, and that's all I use. I only use products I make myself. I don't buy any cosmetics anymore. You can't see this, but I've got a fridge here for ingredients, and I've got a shelf here with ingredients. And that's all I do. When I run out of a product, I will make a small batch of something. And then my friends are very lucky because they get whatever is doesn't fit in my jar or in my bottle, they will get filled up. So they're always very happy. They always ask me, when are you formulating again?
I love it. I didn't even know this about you, Ken. That is
Yeah,
fantastic.
there you go. Now you do. No, I don't buy anything. It's all products and all from our course.
Wow.
Obviously adapted because you put your own twist on it, right? But all from our course, really.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So we've seen lots and lots of products that you said you want to learn to make, lots of formulations that you want to learn to make. And I haven't seen anything apart from soap. We don't teach soap making, but everything else I've seen come past, we teach. So if you want to learn how to formulate, it's your lucky day because we open enrollment next week, Tuesday, and enrollment will be open until the 13th of July at 4 p.m. UK time. So set your calendar for that because you do not want to miss out. But if you've pre-enrolled, you'll be ready to go on Tuesday because obviously you are ready to become a formulator and maybe even an indie beauty entrepreneur like all these incredible people behind me who are taking the world by storm with their brands. And we'll be doing as I said, we're doing a graduate showcase next week, Thursday on Instagram. And if you can't catch it live, don't worry about it. It will be on the Instagram feed afterwards. And I'm hosting a graduate panel with 3 different graduates on YouTube and Facebook next week, Sunday. So not tomorrow, but the week after. And you'll be able to speak to them directly and ask them how they did it and how they got on with the courses and everything else that you might want to ask. So yeah, very exciting.
I'm hosting...
Sorry?
I'm hosting 2 Clubhouse sessions. So if you guys are on Clubhouse as well, we will have 2 discussions next week. One is about the diploma in organic skincare formulation, and one is about the skincare formulation we did already. We're doing the hair care formulation course, and we're doing the business course as well that we offer. So if you're actually thinking of starting a brand, that will be a great course because you get to know everything about, the business side of it, marketing, how to build your brand, those sort of things. So if you have any questions, that would be a great source to actually jump on Clubhouse and ask us questions on the course content and find out really detailed information. We do have a great calendar that you can subscribe to, and you will be informed about all the other sessions that Lorraine just mentioned and the Clubhouse as well for the entire open week. And I'm sure one of our wonderful team members will put this calendar in the chat in any second now. So you basically click on that, you can subscribe to this calendar, and you will then see all the events that we have scheduled for the remainder of open week. So you can find out about, you get notified about all the events Lorraine just mentioned, I just mentioned, you won't miss out on that. And really use that opportunity to ask questions, I think, the next couple of days. Whatever you see when we're online, come ask questions. Obviously, if you can't make it online, there will be recordings available you can watch after. So make use of that.
Couldn't agree more. This is your opportunity to speak to us directly. And, it's we've got about 6 members of the team, I think, who are taking part in Open Week. There's a big team at Formula Botanica. There's about 40 of us. So it gives you a bit of a flavor as well as to who you'll be working with when you enroll with us, because obviously it's not just me. That would not be possible. So we've got some questions coming in. So let's just go through a few of them. There's so many comments. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. I'm going to ask you one, Ken. One person asks if they can take two courses at once, or if they should maybe do one after the other, or what would you recommend?
Yes and no, it depends on you. So you can take 2 courses at once. It depends on your learning style, how much time you have. How much time you can put in to study and to learn. It also depends a little bit on the 2 courses. So personally, for me, I, for example, did the diploma in organic skincare formulation, and parallel to that, I did the business course because I thought the 2 of them complement each other very well. And if I kind of needed a little bit of a break from formulating, I worked more on about marketing and branding of a brand and what would my brand look like if I had one, those sort of things. And when I had enough of the business side of it, I went back to, okay, let's formulate, let's have some fun and make some products kind of thing. So there is courses that obviously complement each other. All our courses are laid out that they obviously build up to you being able to launch your brand. And it doesn't matter if that's skincare or hair care, or if you want to specialize, in anti-aging products or chocolate spa products or facial masks. It all interlinks. So I would say it depends on your time that you have available. And what you can always do is you can enroll for 2 or 3 courses. It doesn't mean that you have to do them all at the same time. If you then feel it's too much, you start with 1 course, finish that off, and then move on to the next one. There is no problem with that, because obviously you cannot enroll all year round with us. We are only open at certain times of the year where you actually have the chance to get a course onto your student profile. So if you are thinking of 2 courses, I don't think there's any harm in subscribing to 2. If you feel it's too much at once to study, or maybe something changes in your life, you don't have that much time available anymore, then finish off 1 and continue with the next one after. That would be my answer.
That's absolutely right. And one person asks if classes will clash if they sign up for 2 courses at once. So I guess it's probably, I don't know if you've watched the virtual campus tour that Ken and Anna did. Was it on Thursday? It's still on YouTube. It's still on Facebook. So please do go back and watch that, because then you'll get a better understanding of how the courses work as well. So we're not teaching live each week because these are self-study programs. We've set them up in such a way that anyone anywhere in the world can take them. If we had set timed classes, then I promise you that half of our student body would feel like they were missing out because they'd be asleep, because we're in 177 countries. So what we do is all of the classes are pre-recorded, and they are effectively demos for you to follow so you can learn how to formulate. And then there's lots of course materials with it, which then challenge you to make your own version, so to become a formulator. And yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. So if you want to do skincare and hair care at once, which is what Manel is asking about on YouTube, you can totally do that. I would always recommend learning the basics first in terms of skincare. Making hair care is slightly harder. It's not difficult, but it is just slightly harder because most hair care products are based on water. So based on what Ken obviously shared earlier, you first of all learn the anhydrous, then you move on to the water-based. And that's when you have to work with more stabilizers and foaming agents. So it's always good to learn the foundations first. But if you want to take skincare and hair care at the same time, please do. A lot of students work that way. So that is very cool. And I can't wait to see which skincare and hair care products you end up making. Someone also asked the question about the initial investment in terms of ingredients and equipment. I've lost the question, but do you want to run that?
I've seen this question also earlier. Yeah, so it's a slightly difficult question to answer in terms of giving you an exact figure, because it depends on what ingredients you want to work with. So like we mentioned in this lecture, if you start with the basic ingredients, you won't be needing a big investment for that, because you can find most of the products or ingredients are readily available. We actually have suppliers we partner as well with that have whole starter packs that basically has everything that you need to work through the course. Where it gets a little bit more pricey at some point is if you then decide to work with lots of different actives and things like that, like different ingredients, and you go absolutely crazy with the shopping cart, which I'm guilty of. That happened to me. All I needed was 3 oils when I went to the supplier website, and I ended up with about 50 products in my cart. So I think there is, it's about a little bit of structure, but the initial cost of what you need to complete the course and still make all of these products is not that much. And you will then see, we will have more sessions and we'll talk about it a little bit more, about where you can find suppliers, and there's whole packages as well, but basically it's literally 1 click into the cart, you receive 1 parcel, everything you need in terms of ingredients will be in there. So it's not that huge of an investment in the beginning at all, and it's also not complicated to get hold of.
Yeah, absolutely. We want you to start simple, because if you start simple, you just get to grips with the basics first. We don't want you to make big investments in equipment. We don't need to make big investments in ingredients, although please do obviously heed Ken's warning. Once you get in there and you start buying ingredients, you're like, oh, I want to try this one, and that one might smell different, and that one's got a different color on it. So you do have to rein yourself in a little bit, but you have control over that yourself, because you determine which formulations you're going to make, how much you buy of everything, etc. But yeah, we want you to start really, really simple. There's been a couple of questions about how to find us on Clubhouse, actually. Well, as you are in charge of our Clubhouse, Ken, maybe you can run them through that.
Okay, so if you go on Clubhouse, you can, I hope you can see that. Where's my camera? You can hopefully look for the Formula Botanica Club, which looks like this. You can see our logo there. And please follow it, subscribe to it, and then that way you get all the notifications of our sessions. So the next one you can see is on Monday, the 5th of July, and it's about the diploma in beauty brand business management. And then the next one we have scheduled is on Wednesday, the 7th of July, about the diploma in organic hair care formulation. So please follow us on Clubhouse. You can obviously also find Lorraine on Clubhouse, trying to get your profile up right now. Here, Lorraine and myself as well, and that way you get notified about everything.
Absolutely. We're both quite active on Clubhouse. We love it because it gives us an opportunity to speak to you directly. So please do come up on stage and just chat to us. It's been a fantastic, I mean, Clubhouse hasn't been around for that long. I suppose it's been around for a year, but it's only really taken off in the last 6 months. It's been an awesome way of really connecting with our students, but also prospective students. So please do come and talk to us because we have some fantastic conversations there.
Yeah, a great way to ask questions. Really, really good opportunity, especially now before enrollment.
Yeah, absolutely. So someone asks, should you do the organic beginners course, so our diploma in organic skincare formulation, which is our foundation diploma, with the preservation course? So we also have our certificate in natural cosmetic preservation. It depends a little bit on you. So once you take our foundation diploma, you will work with some basic preservatives, and we'll walk you through that. And every single student who enrolls with us has access to our student library. So if you attended our virtual campus tour on Thursday, you'll have hopefully seen that. And that means that you have access to our Natural Preservative 101 guide in there, which takes you through the basics. However, once you've learned how to formulate, you might want to try other preservatives. And at that point, there are certain checklists and blueprints and sort of flow charts that you have to follow in order to figure out which one is right. And there are lots of different naturally derived preservatives on the market and different blends as well. So that's where that course can really take you by the hand and help you choose the right one. We'll start you off with the basics. I mean, the foundation diploma is the foundation diploma. You're not going to be left on your own in terms of preservation. But if you want to then learn how to choose more preservatives, how to make more advanced products, how to also work with testing, which is why we have our certificate in cosmetic stability testing, then those are really nice bolt-on certificates that will give you more knowledge and skills in order to create really beautiful, advanced and high performance formulations. So yeah, cool. So have we got any other questions coming in? I've been trying to follow them all.
Let me scroll again.
I think we've covered a lot of them. I love this one. I'm going to put this one up actually.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being so inspiring. Formula Botanica, all caps, this is good, has inspired me to design my own formulations, and I plan to launch soon. We are so excited for you.
Nice.
Cool.
And please tell us when you launch, so we can put you on our website as well. And you can have your product on Lorraine's shelf in the back too.
Yes, I want lots of graduate products. I want more.
Did you ever count them?
No, not yet.
That
But
would
we
be
do
a fun activity.
we do occasionally do sort of big filming days, and then we'll bring all of them out, and it's just awesome when you have like whole tables filled with them, and you're going, oh, this is Emma, this is Sarah, this is Hallie, this is whatever. It is really wonderful and heartwarming to see what everyone's made, and we know their stories, because despite the fact that we have so many students and graduates, we really do our best to try and connect with people, which is also why Clubhouse has been so awesome for us. But we're also incredibly active on Instagram if you're not following us there yet, and also the platforms that you're watching us on right now, YouTube and Facebook. Did you see any others come past?
Not really. I think we covered most of the questions. Let me just see if we missed any. There's so many comments, which is great. So thank you all for that and your participation. Yeah, we covered this question.
Cool. Well, if you have any other not formulation questions, any questions about enrolling with Formula Botanica, then please do put them up. Oh, there's one here at the bottom. Does the course go over regulatory requirements for testing and labeling that are pertinent for skincare products being sold? Yes. So our diploma in organic skincare formulation and our diploma in organic hair care formulation will teach you how to comply with the law. Now, we expect all of our students to aim to comply with the highest standards of cosmetic regulations in the world. So that means if you're in the US, we're going to encourage you to meet EU standards. And the reason we do that is not because we're in the EU, that has nothing to do with it, but one day you might sell here. And if you sell a product here, even if you're shipping it from your own country, you are still selling it here. And that means you have to comply with the law here. So we want you to aim for the highest standard of regulatory compliance, because that means you are future-proofed. And believe me, it is not that complicated. We even have a podcast on this that you can go and listen to, episode number 3 of Green Beauty Conversations. Go and check it out. I walk through the requirements at a high level, and it isn't as daunting as you initially think. And we'll take you by the hand and show you how to do it. In terms of testing, there are also certain tests that you can do at home, and that in your home formulation lab, I should say. And we have our certificate in cosmetic stability testing and our certificate in natural cosmetic preservation exactly for that reason, because that way you learn the skills to undertake some of those tests at home. Not all of them. You cannot do all of them yourself. And that is the same regardless of where you are in the world. Some of them you have to outsource, but honestly, it doesn't cost as much as you might initially think. So that way you can learn those skills for yourself. And that is incredibly empowering, because once you embed stability testing at the core of what you do, you will test every single batch that you make, every single product that you put out on the market, etc. And we will hold your hand and teach you how to do that. So that's really cool.
Yeah. Lorraine, there's one comment I would like to show from YouTube. I'm going to pull it up. I can't wait to start learning again. I'm sure it would be fun, but probably at 54, I will remember everything. Well, I think learning is always great. You can always learn something new, even if you think you know everything. If you go back to the materials, the courses, you will find out something else. There's a new ingredient to experiment with, and you can do this at any age. I think that's the other fun part as well. Like, I think our student base is not only diverse with nationality or where they are in the world, it's also age-wise. I actually spoke to someone recently who's starting their own brand soon, and she turns 70 this year, and it's her birthday present to herself to launch her brand in her 70th birthday year, which I think is great. So never too soon, never too late, always right for formulating. As long as you enjoy it, then, go for it, I would say.
Yeah, I love that. Never too soon, never too late, as long as you enjoy it.
Always right.
I feel like we should embroider that and hang it on the wall. We recently had a thread in our online classroom where one of our students posted up and said, "Am I the only one in my 50s planning to launch a brand?" And I absolutely loved that thread, because everyone jumped on it, and there were dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of comments from people just going, "I'm in my 50s, I'm in my 60s, I'm in my 70s, I'm doing this." And it just goes to show anyone can start a business at any age. More than that, anyone can learn to formulate at any age. It is such an empowering skill that you can start this whenever you want. On the flip side, we've had people in their teens come and enroll with us as well. You saw Brooke yesterday on our live lecture. Brooke enrolled with us when she was 13. When she was 19, we employed her. We were so impressed with her formulation skills that we brought her into the team. So you can start this at any age. There is nothing stopping you. It's much like cooking in a way. Anyone can cook, everyone can formulate. And more to the point, everyone should formulate, because it allows us to reclaim that power from the beauty industry. And just like everyone's been complimenting you on your amazing skin, Ken, you can then turn around and go, "That's because I made my own products."
My own product, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, very, very cool. And I love that point. So thank you very much, whoever posted that up. Okay, well, I think we've probably exhausted most of the questions that have come in. So I suggest we wrap it up for today and pass on the baton to our next Open Week event. Do you know what it is? Because it's on Monday, isn't it?
It is on Monday. Let me see. 1 second. Because I subscribe to the calendar. So we have on Monday at, I have to calculate the time zones now, at 4 p.m. UK time, we will have a live session, which will be the admissions team Q&A. So if you have any admission questions, that will be your session, 4 p.m. UK time on Monday. And we will also have on Monday at 6 p.m. UK time, that will be the Clubhouse session on the Diploma in Beauty Brand Business Management. So if you are thinking of enrolling into this course and you have any questions that you want to ask, that will be your session. But like we mentioned earlier, maybe the team can pop in the event calendar link again in the chat boxes, so you can subscribe to the calendar. That will make it a lot easier. You will see what events are coming up, and that way you won't miss anything. And you can look them up in case you've forgotten what the next event is.
Exactly.
It's so useful. It's the best. It's the best thing, because I was out earlier with my dog, and I'm like, what time was the session again? Because of the time zone calculation again, and everything's here now. So it's so good.
I love it. And both of us were just sat there going, yeah, let's just look that up. So yes, admissions team on Monday. And if you have any questions about enrolling with us, please do come along. In the meantime, if you can't attend the live session, then just email us. You can use our live chat on the website. You can phone us. Obviously, it is the weekend, so I don't think there'll be many people on the phones, but we'll be there on Monday morning UK time. I'm very, very happy to chat to you. So please do, speak to our admissions team if you have any questions. And in the meantime, don't forget, on Tuesday, we open enrollment for all of our courses. That includes the foundation diploma we've been talking about. It includes all of the other courses we have on hair care, on business management, on testing, on stability, on preservation, the advanced diploma, the anti-aging one. We've got so many courses. So if you're thinking of becoming a formulator, then please do jump on Tuesday and come and join our amazing and heartwarming community. As I said, we have over 13,000 students and graduates. I'm expecting at least another 1,000 to join us once we open up enrollment. Enrollment will only be open for a week, so it's going to be an incredibly busy week for us. So if you do have a question for admissions, now is the time to ask it before things go absolutely insane on Tuesday when we open up and all of these people start joining our big Formula Botanica family. And I hope that will include you as well. So thank you so much, Ken. That was a really awesome session. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Yeah.
And thank you, everyone, for your questions and your comments. And I hope we can welcome you next week on Tuesday as a new student with us. If not, hopefully see you maybe on Clubhouse on one of the next sessions as well if you have more questions. Thanks, Lorraine, as well.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
Happy, what is it, Saturday? Happy Saturday afternoon to everyone.
Exactly. I think it's cocktail time, so I'm going to go sort that out. Have a lovely weekend, everyone, and we'll be seeing you again next week when we're back for our next session. And have a great day. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.